It was a single glance. A momentary meeting of eyes across a crowded room at the Palace of Westminster. King Charles, standing tall at the podium, delivering his first major address since his coronation. And Princess Catherine, the future queen, watching from the front row. To anyone else, it was just another royal event. But to those who understood the subtle language of the monarchy, this was different. This was coordination. This was strategy. And at the center of it all, a young woman barely anyone was paying attention to, Lady Louise Windsor. Lady Louise Windsor, the 20-year-old daughter of Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. For years, she's lived in the shadows of the royal family. The quiet, studious granddaughter who prefers library books to limelight. But behind the scenes, something extraordinary has been happening. A bold, unprecedented plan has been set in motion. And the architect, not King Charles alone, but Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales, in a role so secret, so carefully concealed, that even palace insiders are only now beginning to understand its significance. To understand this story, we must go back to the spring of 2022. The Queen's health was failing. Charles was preparing for his reign. And Catherine was watching, learning, and planning. She'd formed an unexpected bond with Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Two women who understood what it meant to marry into this institution. Two women who shared a vision for a more modern, more compassionate monarchy. But Catherine's attention kept returning to Sophie's daughter, Louise, the quiet, intelligent young woman who reminded Catherine so much of herself. While the world obsessed over Harry and Meghan, over William and Charles, Catherine saw something special in Louise. A steadiness, a dignity, a deep understanding of royal duty without the craving for fame. She doesn't see it as a burden or a privilege, Catherine once said. She sees it as responsibility. That's rare. That's precious. What happened next would change the course of the monarchy. In a private meeting at Windsor, Catherine went to Charles with a radical proposal. Not about succession, not about titles, but about purpose, about legacy. The institution needs continuity, she said. But it also needs soul. Louise has that. She understands what this family means to people. Not as celebrities, but as servants. Charles hesitated. But she's so young, he said. And she's never sought the spotlight. Exactly, Catherine replied. That's why she's perfect. That's why this will work. Charles, to his credit, listened. He'd spent his entire life preparing for kingship. He knew the monarchy's weaknesses, the drama, the divisions, the constant media circus. Catherine was offering something different. A long game, a strategic investment in the monarchy's quietest asset. The plan was simple but revolutionary. Instead of pushing Louise into the relentless senior royal circuit, they would do the opposite. They would protect her, nurture her, give her the education, the experiences, the mentorship she needed to become the monarchy's secret weapon. While other young royals faced constant scrutiny, Louise would be given space to grow, to learn, to become. Catherine's argument was brilliant. Let the world focus on the noise. We'll focus on the foundation. And Catherine herself would be Louise's guide. Not publicly, never publicly, but in private meetings, in carefully arranged coincidences at family events, in introductions to the right people at the right time. Catherine became Louise's royal mentor, teaching her everything from dealing with press to understanding the complex web of charities and patronages. The first part of the plan unfolded perfectly. Louise went to St. Andrew's University, the same university where William and Catherine met. She studied English literature. She made friends outside royal circles. She grew into herself. And all the while, Catherine was there in the background. A text message of encouragement, a lunch date when Louise was home, a carefully chosen piece of advice. Then, 2 weeks ago, came Charles's bold move. In a meeting with senior advisors, he made a stunning announcement. Lady Louise would be given a significantly expanded role in the monarchy. Not just occasional appearances, but real, substantive work. Patronages that mattered. A voice in royal strategy. A seat at the table. There were raised eyebrows, one courtier said. But Charles was firm. This isn't about lineage, he said. This is about character. And Louise has more character than people who've been in this business for decades. And through it all, Catherine watched, never taking credit, never seeking acknowledgement. This was her legacy in the making, not just raising future kings, but building a stronger monarchy, piece by piece, person by person. The morning after Charles's announcement, photographers caught Catherine and Louise having coffee together near Kensington Palace. They were laughing, at ease. Two women, two generations, bound by a shared vision for what the monarchy could be. So what does this mean for the monarchy? Everything. Because while the world has been watching the dramatic exits and the public feuds, Charles and Catherine have been quietly building something durable. Something that might just survive the 21st century. Lady Louise represents a new kind of royal, one who serves not out of obligation, but out of genuine commitment. One who understands the weight of the crown without being crushed by it. And Catherine represents a new kind of Princess of Wales. One who thinks not in news cycles but in generations. One who builds bridges instead of burning them. In the end, this isn't just a story about titles or tradition. It's a story about vision. About a king who's learned from the past, and a future queen who's building for the future. And in their quiet partnership, they may have just secured the one thing every monarch fears losing: the future itself. What do you think about this royal strategy? Could Lady Louise be the monarchy's secret weapon? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you were surprised by Catherine's behind-the-scenes role, make sure to like and subscribe for more royal insights you won't hear anywhere else.